right? This is good beer. Touche.
We are live?
Live.
Yeah, they fucking look like it's live. Look at them, they look concerned. Even the dude in the chair, he looks pretty comfortable. But, you know, the other guys, how are we looking? Is that audio all right? Just humming along?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to.
Cheers for a start.
Cheers, thank you, sir. It's been too long. Man,
If this interview...
I knew you when you were like you're like a baby in the business. And everything happened. Your journey just fucking went to shit and came good and came out and kept going. And now you're here, like on the Blue Star. I don't even know if you call this.
I think we met around 2006. 2006?
2005, 2006.
Or 2005. Actually, you were still playing.
I was here
in Brisbane because you finished in Brisbane in 2006.
I did.
And you started in 97.
Sacked, whatever. Yeah, I did. So
9 years.
So yeah,
Brisbane Lions.
I played 12 years at the club. So
yes.
We had the Brisbane Bears.
Yes.
And when I started, it was 95. I was literally in year 12. I was going to Nudgee College. I was at Nudgee for a athletic scholarship.
Yes.
Which was kind of good. I was a really fast runner anyway. And I'd been going to a rugby league school, which was Wavell Heights. You know, that's where you go and get your good fucking marijuana and shit. So, got out of there, went to Nudgee, and it was great to have a scholarship. I had a really tough year at 15, but to be going in year 12, like my classmates were either giving me shit because we lost on the weekend playing Melbourne, or they had no idea. And it was funny because it's like the best you ever had at school. Academically, not so much, you know, the sport was good, but I was just that little bit more mature, but I hang around men. So to start off and be playing in the AFL in 1995.
Straight away from high school, really?
I was still in high school. So to finish that, after that first year, I played 17 games. So I was like, maybe I might be all right. Maybe I'll get there. And you never know because it probably took maybe 4 or 5 years to really feel like I can actually, this is the profession. Yes. You think, what are you talking about? You're dominating games where you're playing well and you're kicking 5 goals. And, you know, next year you're sort of in finals and pretty much finals ever since. That year, bar one. So it was sort of like, it's really hard to gauge. You think, it's just this straight, easy ride that it's
there's no such a thing as an easy ride.
And, you know, when you get, I think, I was saying today, that the hardest thing as an athlete, despite not believing you're good enough, is getting injured. And early in my career, I had just a couple of hamstrings early in the years for some reason. Every time, so the first 4 rounds, I'd be doing hammies. And that took 3 or 4 years to get on top of. And so that really affected my own confidence in my body because you literally get paid for your body. The better you go, the more you get paid, the better you play, the more you get paid. Roll up, roll up. And so everything you're doing is to do that as best you can. So to get injured is probably the one unknown that does affect you mentally. Yes. So it took a good 4 years at least.
So you got to be physically prepared and then you got to be also mentally prepared constantly to keep being on top of your game.
It's probably the grind part of it. But when you're good, that's one thing. When you're trying to get there and you're taking on the older players, the really stars of the league, you're going up against them one-on-one, you have your small victories, you might win a quarter, then they pants you, you come back again, you roll up, win some ball, all of a sudden, you know, kick a good goal, help the team win. And so these little sort of victories keep building and building and building, and then all of a sudden, you're there. You're a 24 with piggy your powers, winning games by yourself, off your own boot, or carrying a side for a half. And then all of a sudden you're like one of the best, and you win a Brownlow. Like, mate, you're the best player in the league. And you go, I was saying today at a speaking engagement I had, you go from this standard to without even doing anything other than just winning a Brownlow and playing great to this standard. And you're like, there's a big fucking gap there. One, because you've got to maintain it. There's no, well, you can drop off, have a bad week. You have a bad week. You imagine going to work and some bloke here goes, hey, Neil, weekend was shit house, man. I didn't like the way you sold. You fucked up this, you fucked up that. You cost the team. Well, that happens every week for us for 22 weekends. 22 weekends, and then if you're good enough, you get to go for 4 weeks and try and play and get to a grand final. You're playing finals, man. That microscope goes from like this big to that big. You think you fucked up? You let down your team. You got your teammates that aren't looking you in the eye and shitty at you. And you got your fans, and then you got some bloke whose job is to talk about the game, giving it to you. And I say to people, you want to go out and you want to do that every week? If I come to your work and do that, how do you think you're going to respond? How are you going to handle that?
Yes.
Because that's what it's like for us, for like the whole season.
So question for you. You played professionally for a very long time. So you were not in the game just for 6 months. You were there for very long time for any professional.
16 years is a long time.
16 is a long time to be playing professionally. But when you were starting, when did you feel and when did you know yourself that you are one of the best?
I think when I was 24. So
Because
I was really good at 20.
I know you might be humble and say, I never thought I'm one of the best, but for you to be performing on top level, you surely had to think to yourself, I am good.
Yeah, I remember coming off games, so we were talking 24, 25, probably 25, 26 years of age. So you're talking 2002, 3, 4, 5. I won the BNF in 2005. I'd come off the game and we'd have after match, we'd have our cool down, go for a shower, do some hot and colds, eat some food, go out and you see your wife and your kids, whoever's in there. And I remember in that period going out, seeing my wife Megan and just going, man, just smoked it. Just fucking smoked it. Just kicked 4 or 5, did what I needed to do, dominated the game when I should have, made the tackles, few errors. You always make errors, but that's okay. That's part of it. Don't be too hard on yourself. They were great days. You at home, did a handstand, we won. Piggy of powers, fucking beautiful. Just beautiful.
Tell me about the feeling you get when you win the season. Season is finishing, you're in Melbourne, walking home as a winner.
Yeah, we had to do something today.
The first minute. So
the
when you
first
win,
minute.
is everybody screaming, you guys won. How do you feel? How did you feel that moment?
Well, we had because 20 years this year since we won the first one. So you're talking 2001. And the Lions, so myself, Alistair Lynch was our full forward, Clark Keating was our ruckman. The three of us had the 3 jumpers, and they'd done the special ones for the reunions. And I asked him, I said, which is the most special to these two? Lynch, you remember the famous when we won, he's holding the ball up. We went literally as a siren in 2001. And that feeling, like for me, it was very emotional because, I had my mum pass away probably, maybe 4 or 5 years before, where I was only 20 years of age. So I had that, and that weighed on me heavily because I had to run the house, had to pay all the bills, I had to look after my brother because no dad. And then I won the Brownlow that week. And so there's all this fucking pressure. When you win the Brownlow, I spoke about how the standard goes up. Well, it doesn't just go up. It goes up for everything you do. The next game you expect to be best on ground. And people in the street will say, man, I got you for Norman Smith medalist. Like, fucking what? Which is to be the best player on the ground. Forget your fucking role, your team. No, don't worry about that. I want to win money on you. Man, I've never seen that before. Yeah. So when we won, it was like this huge burden, like the greatest monkey, the baboon or gorilla could just sit on your neck and your back the whole year. Like you just want to win, and then you do, and it's sort of you're relieved of this stress and tension. But it's taken for all of us in that group, bar one, a good 20, 24, 5, 30-year journey. As kids growing up, wanting to play.
It doesn't happen just over a minute. It's just that build up to get to that point where you win.
I think for all of them, bar one, it was our first premiership, including the coach was their second premiership. Our coach, Lee Matthews, had been around since the 70s. And he's won, many as a player, but as a coach, only 2. And when you win one as a player...
Question for you. Do you think he's one of do you think he's one of the greatest coaches ever?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
It's
hard to say because I haven't been coached by the others. I'd say that to Lee, his record is, stands the test of time. He won 2 clubs.
And results speak louder than words. He's got the track record. What can he say?
And he come out of the 70s and 80s where he was a one-on-one, tough, hard, fucking ruthless footy. We hit the shit out of each other in the back play.
Not just push.
If you weren't bleeding, it wasn't a free kick. Like that was that era. And then he had to move in the modern era where it's faster, more skillful. You got zones, rolling zones, you got different stuff going on tactically that he had to sort of be on top of. But still amazingly, if you watch any game Aussie rules, it still comes back to one-on-one footy, which is, it's as simple as that sounds. All great teams end up getting the grand final. They turn into a one-on-one battle. They have to.
So question that I always ask people, when you come from not being known, so when you are grade 5, 10, nobody really knows you besides your family, and then you become one of the best in whatever you do, in your field was being professional sportsmen. So when you come to the top, how do you sustain being on top of your game constantly? Because you have pressure that you put on yourself to win. You have pressure from fans, they want you to win. You have pressure from your teammates, pressure from your coach. You got pressure from everybody, from media, because media, obviously, when you're good, they put you on the pedal. When you're bad, you're the worst player ever. You know, people are putting constantly pressure on you, and you still performed. So you were on top of your game for many, many, many years. How did you stay on top, considering all of the pressure you had on yourself?
It's a good question, but it's sort of this funny double-edged sword, because when you're a star at what you do, you literally, I have to tell people all the time how a great athlete is not only great at what they do, but they have to be so singular in their mindset, but also very selfish in the way that they roll around the earth. What I mean by that is, so I'd have a friend say, "Oh, we'll just go out for a beer." Well, man, I can't do that. You know, I drink 3 days a year for 16 years. So Mad Monday, maybe some footy trips, but man, I can't do that.
So you got to be disciplined constantly.
But you got another discipline, because I can't just go to a party and have sugar and intermingle with just the normal society, because they make me sick, and I'm not going to go play. And if I can't perform at my best, then the pressure comes again. So you have to live in this, like it's a different society, really, we have to live in. We do what we do, we go to the club, we come home, get physio, we eat right, but we're very, very strict in our living, which is...
So discipline
has to
very
be like
crucial.
the most, excuse me, you couldn't get to that level without this unbelievable discipline. So I'm talking about always being on time for your physio, drinking the right stuff, eating the right foods, you know, recovering well, not trashing your body, not going out to 4 in the morning. On a Tuesday, no one will be at the gather afternoon. But I would be on the ground with 6 balls, kicking goals from everywhere. No one sees that. No one saw as a kid. I'd be out there when
People
it was
only
raining.
see it for duration of the game.
They don't see any of that. And so that discipline is so difficult to have them understand. And it's whether it was, you look at a Tiger Woods or a Michael Jordan, or, you know, it's hard work having to deal with, playing the game's great, but it really does take it. You get exhausted by dealing with the people and the media and the expectations, and or media, this guy wants you for this, or this sponsor wants you for that. They always want a piece of you for some reason, and you've just got to balance it out by all the hard work you do. It's really a delicate balance, because you
got pressure constantly in your head. I always say your mind is your best friend and biggest fucking enemy. Yeah. It's up to us what we're going to take, because you're constantly getting beaten. Because you look, when you're just starting to climb slowly, when people don't know you, you're not being
don't
noticed.
Expect it.
But when you start being noticed, you have a lot of fans, but you also have a lot of people that really don't want to see you do well. And let's face it, you had a fucking blonde hair for a start. Oh, yeah. So you stand out like a rooster between chickens. You just stand out. So blonde hair,
yeah,
you stand out as it is. And you were a player that didn't hold back. If somebody said something in a way you didn't like, you just speak your mind. But a lot of other players that would be, I won't say more disciplined, but they would be holding back what they say. With you, what's in your mind, you put it out there, you like it, good. If you don't like it, it's bad. So you were just almost zero fucks given when it comes to how,
you have to make
which
that
can
choice.
get you in trouble a lot of times.
Oh,
it's probably did.
Lots of trouble, yeah. I mean, you know, you have the same choice. You can either say, well, you know, I'm just going to say nothing and let you have that opinion, when I reckon there might be another way to look at it. I'm not saying I'm right, but, you know, this is what I think. So what you're talking about is this great balance we have between the choices we make. There's no doubt at times we go, ooh, I might just leave that one alone. I'm just going to let.
But I think characters like us, we just blow up first.
But what I was getting to is we must always be prepared that if we're going to go hard on stuff or say what we want, then the blowback, we're happy not to be liked in some ways. If you don't like what I say about, I don't know, the cars I like, the cars you like, versus the difference of opinion, well, you know, I like this type of person or that type of woman. Like, you know, fucking big problem is there? No, there's just subtle differences that your likes and my likes are different. That's why we're individuals. That's why we've got lots of things we love and hate. However, to say I don't like, I like you less now because you only drive a Ferrari, fucking, what about the Lamborghinis and the McLaren F1s and what's wrong with them?
All great cars.
That's not your problem. That would be my problem.
Correct.
And I tell people all the time, you have a problem with what I said about, I don't know, fucking gay people or something, I don't know, what's something upset you? Midgets or something? You know, you're offended. Tell me what part of that is my problem and what part of it is your problem.
And we're all entitled to opinions.
Now, they may say, well, why do you think that? And I can justify it and I'll back it up with some I'm sure, crazy good facts. But in the end, you know, yeah, we all got our flaws, but we've got our biases. We're human. You know, we love this part of the world. That's why we live here. You know? Well, fuck, is everyone else offended now? People in New South Wales offended because they like Brisbane better than New South Wales? Probably. Well, it's fucking their problem.
Exactly. So, again, being on the top, what was driving you to stay on the top? Because you got to be freaking crazy driven person to keep winning and keep pushing yourself to win and win and win.
I think guys like me, we have this stuff in our past that tends to be, you've got this competitiveness, but then you've got the people saying you can't do it or you're not good enough, but then you've got this drive to say, well, I think I can, and I'm going to give it a crack, and then you've got this, I get to the top, fucking, man, it's like 50 Cent would say, man, the top's so much better than the bottom. Man, you get to the top, you want to fucking stay there. It's as addictive as any drug. If you're good at shit, you're going to get your ass in there, roll up to work and fucking, and keep that high standard as long as you possibly can. Because you know it's not going to last forever. But you've got to do it as long as you can to prove that that's what greats do. They find a way to you're never just good like you said. You haven't played 20 games. You played fucking 100, 200, and you backed it up after a good year and good year and good year. And what happens is great players, they start off like this. They're up and down, up and down. As they get better, the bandwidth just gets smaller and smaller, and that's where greatness is, and that takes time. You can't just like roll out and be good.
Doesn't happen
because anyone could be good for a day or a week or have a good year, but you got to stay there, as you said. That's the down and the good start to get very small. So your mastery of craft gets better.
And obviously experience helps as well.
Definitely.
You know, in every single game you learn something and become better and better constantly.
Don't worry about, I missed that tackle. No, yeah, just get on.
How hard is for any young individual to make it to top of anything? Doesn't matter if it's sport, if it's business, if it's then becoming a scientist. How hard do you think is hard to become extremely great at something?
Well, you got the two competing factors there, as you said. So let's look at talent. That's very important. There are guys who don't have a lot of talent, who have got amazing commitment, and they drive themselves up to be good role playing, Aussie rulers or rugby league players playing team sports. But when you get talent, extreme talent, and you get the hours that it takes to be good, not only because you've got your genes, but then you mix that with commitment and fucking amazing stuff happens. There's a lot of guys with talent that hold under 16, under 17, under 15 national records. Fucking gone nowhere. Because they get beaten once, because they've been, champions, and they can't deal with it.
Mental pressure.
I've won for 5-6 years because I had the talent, but they never had the fucking commitment. Then all of a sudden they get beaten, and that commitment then shows up because the talent then can't override it. But you get a guy who's fast, Usain Bolt, but then you get commitment. Fucking up it goes, and off he goes.
How hard was for you to take a defeat? So you lose important games or finals. How hard is to actually take a defeat?
Oh, it fucking hurts. Fucking hurts.
Were you taking it personally?
Oh yeah, because if I could have done something more, sometimes defeats are, well, we were just shit ass, and my teammates were shit ass, and they fucking let me down. And we had one guy miss 10 goals right in front. I mean, you're losing a game, that's not your fault. Like, this guy clearly didn't play his role. Did I play my role? Did I play my part that I was asked? If I didn't, can I be better? But as you start to get good people around you, I think it's like an attraction, like the universe. When you're successful, you just seem to magnetise with other guys who are wanting the same. You very rarely get just a complete shithead attracted to a guy that's just off the chart. Fuck, I want this shit. I'll work my ass off in the weight room. I'm going to fucking outrun you, outwork you, out-hustle you, and out-kick your goal and fucking dominate games. Those guys are just naturally attracted together. So I think in good teams, you sort of get this. You see the good players, what they're doing, you learn, you're watching, you're seeing how hard they work. Bang, you're working that hard. Oh, fuck, I think I could take him now. I can beat him in a one-on-one, or I can beat him in the gym.
But losing a game when you have a freaking tough, good team that played extremely well.
Everyone, like good teams like with let's say the Bulls. man, you lost. Fuck. Good luck next time. Yeah, how many teams in that era? Well, I was happy that when they beat, they usually just beat us. It might be an away game. I was like, can't wait to see them in the finals. Sure as shit every time we just have their measure. Because we'd be able to, they'd be at the top of their game, they have to be just to beat us. And we had like 4 or 5 things to just tweak.
Yes.
Another gear, it's a different level.
When you were on top of your game, do you think AFL was, I won't say better than what it is today, but do you think it was different in any way than it is today?
Yeah, it's different. I mean,
Because if you ask my dad about soccer, he reckons soccer 40 years ago and today is much faster than it used to be.
Much
for
faster.
whatever reason.
I was watching the footage of the Palo movie.
Yeah, correct.
What the fuck? They have concrete shoes and like just glacier. They look like witches' hats. He's just dancing around. I'm like, oh, fucking move. You try to do that shit today, man. You get
So
wiped out.
do you think it is different between, let's say 2004 and 5 or 3 than it is today?
Yeah.
Better or worse in your mind?
In my mind, I say, the era might have been better to watch the great Lions teams because, we were fast, open run, on the fly, get it forward, beautiful to watch. But today, you've got this, in some ways, it's terrible to watch because they've changed rules so much that they're now, they've got the man on mark rule for against you where you can't move. And that's caused another problem. Fix one, cause another. So, they think they've got the answer and they keep fucking it up. So what I say to that is the difference between, say, now and then is that blokes at my level, I'm talking about skill level, man, they'd be like 1 a club, if you're lucky. Maybe 3 or 4 blokes in the league, both feet, bang, bang, bang. Now, blokes on the short, maybe medium kick, left and right foot, there's like 6 of them. So it's growing every year and soon every single person will be able to kick at the level I could. In my game, even though I was, regarded as the best 2-sided player and short, medium, long kicks, all that sort of stuff. There's more of those guys. So you see the depth of mastery of craft, it's just for kicking, which is the hardest skill in footy, has gotten a lot better.
When did you start playing footy? When was the first time that you discovered, hey,
7.
this is something that
7.
I might want to play?
I just started playing at 7 when I was born in a place called Mildura.
Yes.
My mum was from here, but she went down for work and had me, and then had my brother, then came back. So I was probably maybe 9 when I came back. So I played sort of 7, 8, 9. Which I was good because I was a little kid who was quick, had lots of skill, and terrorised people and had a bit of aggression. So, Aussie rules was a great game for me. I was sort of lucky because when I come back up here, you play rugby league, rugby union. Man, there's big fucking Polynesian kids that just knock the shit out of me. Fuck you guys, man, that hurts. Piss off. I'd rather dance around and kick a goal and say, man, maybe you're not as good as you think you are. And that's the main reason. I was good at it.
Do you think I'm a natural talent?
Yeah, I definitely had, because I had the power.
I know it's a crazy question because you were on the top of your game, but I employ some people that are natural, just get it easy. But then some people are not, but they fucking work 10 times harder than anybody else.
Committed.
And I think commitment can almost catch up to the talent, because most people that are super talented, I don't think if they realize it, but they're not putting as much hard work as they should to be really good. But so you always felt that you knew that this is you.
I thought I could. I was good at it when I came to Queensland. I was in like under 12 state team as a 11-year-old, which is a bit rare because they're much bigger kids. I went to Darwin, played up there. We won the carnival, which never happened. Queensland groups were never that good, but we just had a great team, and all that little era came through. And man, there was a bunch of AFL players come out of that team, or just in that couple of years either side. And so that was just a bit rare in the sense that we beat pretty much everyone. We drew with Victoria. When I got to the AFL, and I don't mean to be arrogant when I say this, I thought I could play, without a doubt, 200 games. Just thought I could do that, no stress. I thought I was good enough to play 200, which is a lot of games back then. There weren't a lot of them. Well, I played 325 games. But in my mind, like I was still worried. I still was concerned and anxious about my career. Would I be good enough? Would I get a game?
Yes.
Would I get my first game with the players passed to me? The game was in that perfect transition where it started to get quicker, which suited me because my mind worked much faster than the others, but I had the speed to get out. So I was already gone, and the ball then started to come my way. So I thought I could do it. I didn't know, but I still thought I could play 200 games, no problem. End up playing a lot more, but it's funny when you talk what's in your mind at the time, the voice as you're talking to yourself. I had no problem thinking I was good enough to play that.
I always say for you to be on the top and one of the best, you really have to believe that you are one of the greatest and have that much confidence.
Fake it
that-
till you make it, almost. You know.
well, whatever way you're looking at it, you have to believe that you are good in your own game. Otherwise, you can't be just constantly good every single day, because your battle is. I always say, for example, fastest runner in the world, Usain Bolt, for example, he's got maybe one important race every year that goes for 10 seconds. And he's training all year for the 10 seconds. Well, my 10 seconds in my business is every single day, because I'm just racing. Every day is a race. There's no training. It's just a race. And same when you were playing professionally as well. Every game is a race. Every week, there's no that 10 seconds once a year.
My mates, talk about that 10 seconds Usain Bolt fucking races. They call that foreplay. So, that's fucking just different. Just different. The amount of shit that you can do in 10 seconds. That guy works. I've seen his documentaries. Works and works and works to, you're talking about like literally this much or this much. That's it. Fuck amazing. And it's almost sad. I'm glad I wasn't, I was quick, but not that quick, clearly.
Clearly.
I'm not West African, and I can't run under 10 seconds. So I think my fastest was like 10.8. And that's pretty good for
That's
my
good.
era. But you got an Australian white dude there, Brownie, I think last week did 10.08, 10.05, 10.05, 10.03, something like that. Anyway, super fast. And yet he is like 4 or 5 meters behind Usain at 9.59 or whatever it was.
That's crazy.
Or like it's half, like 5 meters.
The
It's fucking
mental
a lot.
strength that he had for that 10 seconds is just crazy, insane. What do you think all professionals that are on top of their game, could be sport, could be whatever in life, what do they all have in common? All people that are on top of their game, what do they all have in common?
I think there's a couple of things I see with really good athletes. Number one, you got work ethic, which sort of goes without saying. Not really like groundbreaking when you say that. But then you've got this psychology that is really unique. These guys have these, it could be Michael Jordan growing up, has his issues, has a few dad issues and shit. And then, competitiveness with his brothers becomes, grows much bigger than them, star, but that competing nature. So you got that, but I think you just got this how do you describe what the grey matter in your brain and the drive? Where the fuck does that come from? It's not just your story. It's not just your talent. It's like this somehow woven into some genetic code that's just like, well, he was good. I'll give him that. But he wasn't as good as him. Why was he better? Well, fucking he outworked him. Man, you go to train him, he just did the minimum. This guy here, the extras he did to get to under pressure, to perform, to execute, that's the fucking difference. And it's hard to describe the psychology of those guys. You're sort of half mad in some ways because it takes so much of your understanding of what you need to do. And it's addictive, and it's like fucking that will that you're just gonna do it. You're gonna keep going. You're gonna keep that next shot, that next shot, that next kick, that next kick. You fucking butter up the basics to executing when all those people are there screaming their ass off at you, fucking booing you, saying you're no good and you're fucked up and all this shit. And it's got to be you that's got to make that play or kick that goal. You just got to want to do it, and you got to want to put yourself in that situation.
So you have to have that fire within you to.
It's a madness. It really is. It's you can't get a psychologist in here to go, oh yeah, that guy will make it.
I always say to be on top of anything, you gotta be crazy, insane,
Crazy.
mad, all that, because you're not normal human.
It's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's been some successful guys throughout history, amazing success. But it's you look at how they failed and where it all went wrong. They always wanted more.
Yes.
Once they get too much, and the human condition is self-sabotage. Like Shane Warne and Wayne Carey would self-sabotage themselves just to come back up bigger and better, and because they needed it. They needed that challenge to fucking hit rock bottom to say, I'll show you fuckers, and they did. Michael Jordan's the same. You don't have to destroy yourself to do that, but some people just in life just have that little dip, that real fucking explosion moment. But when they come back up, they're like, hey man, I'm fucking coming. But they won't do that again. And they'll be able to stay.
How important is a great coach for the team?
I think a coach, you got talent. I mean, Lee Matthews' job wasn't to tell me to kick golf from 70 metres on the left, because fuck, that ain't going to happen. Lee can't do that. Plus, he hasn't got the understanding to what I could do.
Yes.
However, he could say, I need you to do this for the team, because he's He's looking at it as a team. If I get you a bit better and you a bit better to complement these stars, this place, this team is going to hum. That's the difference between running a team and being like a development coach, just looking after one guy. Lee's skill was to make sure everyone knew what they should be doing, but not saying, hey, Vossi, I need you to go in and do this technique. That's
so
the difference.
having a good leader, it is important as well, because a lot of you guys know what you're doing as well, but somebody also gives you good direction how to be better constantly.
Even the best, and I say this all, you talk to them, they're always talking to people, always trying to gather a bit of information. Even if that bit of information tells them that it's okay, I'm doing the right thing. Just to get someone to say, hey, keep on that track, that's good. You're like, I knew it. Confidence come back up, bang. These are like people who could teach everyone in the room 10 times over, going, hey, what do you reckon about this? Just to get some affidavit that they are on that way. Affirmation, I should say, on that direction, I'm going to keep there. Or they just troubleshooting. I've got this problem. We all have problems. Fuck, how do I solve this? Got this cranky ass lady, man, she's a pain in the ass. What do you want me to do? Well, I had one, this is what I did. That didn't work, but this did. Great. We love that. Humans, we just love stories and we want to solve shit. And
How did you take critics? How did you take media? Or when you lose something, or I always go, I wish you were playing at that level today, because with social media and everything we have, your profile will be 10 million times bigger right now. Not you were God when it comes to then, but right now you would be probably making 10,000 times more money as well. And we'll be having more criticism as well, because right now everybody can be a hero behind their phones. In 2005 it wasn't like that. But how did you deal with the pressure of people saying you did something? Because we all make mistakes. But if nobody knows you, when you make a mistake, if you have a car accident and nobody knows you, it doesn't matter. But with you, if you go through red light, entire country knows you in Channel 9. So how did you deal with that pressure of, and especially out of all players in Australia, you fucking had a blonde hair.
Yeah.
So you
there was a reason I had blonde hair, which...
well, I never knew that. Why did you have blonde hair?
So in my side, we had 4 redheads at the time. And we had Michael Vossi as a captain, Justin Lepage, who coached up here, and most people know Lever. A guy called Ben Robbins and myself. Anyway, they were always fucking up my name. I'd be watching the replay and it's like, hey, this is Ben Robbins, great goal, Ben Robbins. I'm like, what the fuck? Ben Robbins can't kick a goal. And man, he hasn't got a left foot. Fucking get your names right. And I'm like, fuck this. So I ended up dyeing my hair blonde, and it was in 99. And I was so petrified. Lee Matthews coming just fucking saying, what the fuck, what are you doing?
What did he tell you?
I'll never forget it. We're about to start. Like, it's 99. We're going to go out. We're at the old sort of the old social rooms. You got to walk down the race, and all the people are up here on the grandstand, just above us, and we're doing like a corporate launch. And I'm standing there, just dyed my hair blonde. Wasn't that good at that stage, a bit orangey, but fucking bad hairdresser. And I look at Lee. Lee's over there, and I'm like, oh shit. I was fucking shitting bricks. And because anything Lee said, and he could have told me to jump off the bridge, I would have jumped.
So people listen to him.
Oh yeah. And I was no different. And out the corner of my eye, I could start seeing Lee, like, he's coming this way. And I'm like, oh,
pretending he's not walking towards you.
and at this stage, people probably don't remember, but Lee had he had dyed his hair for a few years. He looked fucking terrible because he was starting to go like grey hair. And Lee wanders over, and by now he's like giving that shit up. He's just got grey hair, and it's sort of he's losing a bit of hair and shit. And he comes over, stands next to me. Oh fuck. Anyway, puts his arm over me, around me, and he goes, "Hey, I love your hair. It looks just like mine. It looks terrific." Fucking shit. It was like, I had the sweat, and I was sweating bullets. I looked like I had the flu. I'd fucking lost all the colour in my face. And Lee said that, and I was on cloud 9. I walked out of there.
But see, the thing is, in everything I do, I'm a marketer. And I always say to people, doesn't matter what business you're in, you can't be just a good builder. You can be a good builder, but you got to be a good marketer. You could be a good tailor, but you need to know how to market yourself as well. And I always got a saying that to stand out, you obviously got to be good. I understand all that. And I always tell people that in front of my office, 10,000 people walk past every day. And I can't remember a single face. But if there was one guy that walked past in a blonde hair, I would remember him because nobody else does it. So did you realize that you're actually a good marketer? Because you were really great. Nobody can take away, your results from you. But marketing-wise, even just having your hair blonde, you freaking stand out, and you also attract so much good and bad.
Yeah, I tell you, I had form. When I was in juniors, I was coming through, I was playing in like rep sites around here, so Met North. At one stage, I remember I had these bright, like pink sort of, they're actually wetsuit pants underneath my shorts.
Pink would suit you.
Stand out. And then one time in another carnival, I had like a white t-shirt underneath my jumper. Only one with fucking white t-shirt. Fucking stood out. I was playing great anyway, but man, there's that guy again. There's that guy again. So I hadn't really gone down the coloured hair, but just a couple of weeks before that, I saw Adam Huskus, who was one of my teammates at the time, flash through the screen with his bright blonde hair. I'm like, the fuck is that?
But you saw him.
I saw him and I'm like,
if he was just normal like everybody else, he wouldn't stand out for 1 second.
That's what I'm going to do. And so marketing-wise, I did sales and marketing, but the one thing I took out is how to, literally, like you said, stand out from the crowd. Having blonde hair, man, there were people running around the streets with that shit, and it was bad, but it was good fun. You did stand out, and everywhere, even when I was watching games, I'd be like, where am I? I can see myself. A fucking smart idea that. You could see yourself on the screen, even though I might have been out of position, or it was so much easier to pick instead of, like, everyone's got dark hair these days, hardly any layers, or blokes that want to stand out. They got bright boots, but that's about it. Man, it was cool.
How did you take pressure? How did you take bad media? For example,
criticism. You asked me about criticism.
Right now, for example, there could be a rugby player. He might do something. It might not be that bad, but media makes it so bad that obviously you're still human.
Yes.
You're not a bloody dinosaur. You're still human, and you still have our feelings. So when media is beating you up, did you take it personally?
Oh fuck yeah! I mean, human condition. No one likes criticism. There's not one. You can criticize anyone you like. I guarantee they will spend the rest of their life trying to justify that criticism, and we are just all the same. But what I had to learn was, okay, well, what's he saying? Is it his version of what happened, or is it him? He's got a reason to say that. Has he got a personal agenda about it? And a little bit more why. Once I worked out, why would he say that? Sometimes there's a guy just said, I didn't play well, as well held. That's true. That's not criticism. Fucking truth. I could deal with that. When they were when they're just saying straight out fucking, shit that just wasn't true, wasn't me, or misrepresentation of me, I'm like, the first thing you want to do is fucking ring the dude, which I did often. But what are you talking about that shit for? I mean, that's not true. And this is why it's not true. Oh, thank you. Jesus, getting a bit thirsty over here. Good job.
We thought if we get you drunk, he'll tell us everything.
I mean, you're gonna need more than this.
We're being smart, buddy, how we do this.
Yes. How long we got left on the line?
We got about 4 cartons there, After 4th carton, you're going to be telling us everything.
Bring in some midgets or something, have some tossing.
Like
what are you laughing at?
Wolf of Wall Street, hey?
But the pressure, the criticism is easy to do. Don't get me wrong, it's fucking easy to criticize. It's harder to have empathy for your criticism, which meant, hey, listen, Emil, what you did, I wasn't happy about that, but I understand. You go, what do I do? Well, the way you approach that, I reckon we could do that better. And you'll know it's a criticism, but you also know the way I've spoken to you is not because I empathise because I've been there. I've been in that arena. Most fucking journos can't kick a footy, can't fucking deal with any pressure, wouldn't know what it's like to run out with goosebumps all over you because fucking crowd's going nuts. No one knows what it's like. They wouldn't know what it's like to walk down the street, have people yell at you, yell at your name, good and bad. People give you free shit when you brought up with nothing. All you wanted was some help. Now you can't fucking, you can't stop people with, look, I don't need that, it's okay, I can afford it now. I wouldn't know that shit. So unless I've been in that arena, I'm always like, man, fuck,
what are you saying? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
In the end, that's their job. I don't mind if they interviewed me and this is their take on it. I can deal with that because, we talked.
As long as they can justify it and not talking, shit with no meaning.
Yeah. If you map it out and put it down properly, my quotes properly, not misrepresented, I'm all right. So they were the deals.
Was it worth it? A lot of kids these days, they dream of certain things in life. They dream of maybe having Lamborghini, or they dream of being famous. Everybody knows you today, but when you're on top of your game as well, you're a household name. You still are. Everybody knows you now, but before, when you win a game and next day you walk the streets, you probably couldn't even be a normal person. Was it worth it?
Oh yeah, I say all the time. You see, I was watching a documentary the other day, which you've watched, Drive to Survive, which is the Netflix doco on F1. And
I watched it a few times. I even watched twice season 3 now.
Well, the season 3, there was a great quote in there from one of the journos, and I never really I never heard anyone say it like this. He said, sportsmen, they die twice. They die once when their career stops, which is fucking true. It's like a brick wall. It's fucked because you don't just carry on. You don't just become, in the same industry. You literally have to start doing shit, go back to school, get another job, go and find some contacts. Like it's start again. And when you're 33, you got to do that. And of course we die for real much later on. But to have someone understand what it's like, there's not a drug in the fucking world. There's not a drug that Ben Cousins has had that can get you as high naturally as what it does to kick a goal out here in front of 40,000 people screaming their heads off as you're running in, you're bouncing the ball and you can hear them, then you know you're about to kick a goal and the noise is getting louder and fucking louder and louder.
So the feeling
and
you
when
get
it goes
is
through
just...
there, and the thing is, it goes through there and it gives you goosebumps and fucking everyone's going nuts and you got to go back and start again. But the thing is, you can have that 4 times in a game and you'll have it throughout the whole year. You could have 28 of them. They're natural highs. You can't fucking bother. You could take all the drugs on the earth and never get close. And people don't understand that. And when you finish, they don't come back. You don't ever get them. How you gonna get something like that?
How hard was for you to say this is my last game?
Well, it wasn't. I got fucking sacked. That was the problem. And it's still...
Did you take it personal when you got sacked?
Oh, mate, they were fucking pricks, man. Fuck me. Like, I don't mind...
You took it personally, obviously, as a human.
Well, it was personal.
Because if you got sacked because you shit, you kind of, you know what, I deserve it.
I'll still
At that minute, you could be angry, but later in life, you will say to yourself, you know what, I was a shit, and I deserve it. But when you're good and you get sacked...
Yeah, I got sacked in July 21st, I think. So we were still heading into final. We ended up playing in a prelim that year. And it was a real effort to get me sacked. Like, they fucking did their best. And it wasn't because of my form, even though I just got a bit injured, so I was a little bit off, but I could still come back and play. It was a group of guys in my team, and I had the president, fuckwits, and then I had a bunch of coaches that should have been better. And just, mate, everything they did is ironic because they were sponsored by WorkSafe. You talk about anti-bullying, man. All I did was get fucking bullied, all because I didn't do what they want. Give up the handstands, fine.
Why was that a problem?
Oh, apparently it's too individualistic and it's away from what the team does.
Well, good luck to anybody if they can do it.
It was just dumb. And then we want you to give up the media stuff. So I get paid well to do it. And when I finish here, I'm going to go do that for a few years at least. I got contracts. Get fucked. Didn't like that. Well, and they just...
So they wanted to control you.
Yeah, they just kept controlling.
You were really this bloody blue sheep or whatever they call it.
Oh, yeah,
black
I'm just
sheep
like the black sheep.
Yeah.
The black sheep. just get a little bit of, international crossover for slang. But no, he was fucked, mate. He was fucked. And I just said, well, because I didn't... And I said to him, I'm not doing what you want to do. Because you're trying to control me when... I play my best football when I'm doing my media stuff. When I can go to try and do my thing, do my extras. And now you just want to fucking restrict me. Like,
in America, they would love that. But here it's different. In America, they would be pushing you to be as loud as you want to be.
It was the club I was at, the Bulldogs. They had wanted success so bad, they almost didn't know what to do. Well, I'd come from a successful club and culture was like, man, you're an individual. We love that. You just go and be you, be the best of you. We accept you for you. Off you go. Not these fucking muppets. Oh, no, you can't be yourself. You've got to be like us. Fuck that. If I was like you, I wouldn't win shit. Upset everyone. That's how I got sacked. And so I never got a last game. Fucking drove me insane.
So you never had
16 years.
And you felt that after so long time.
35.
But you probably felt after so long time you deserved to have that last walk.
Just give me a little bit of respect, boys. You want to sack me, well, fine, but at least have a good reason. But if you're going to do that, why don't you give me a last game? They couldn't even do that. They had just no respect for what you've done.
Once again, listening to you today. journey you had was, there was a price to pay.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
to be on top, price to pay is the sacrifices you're gonna make. Family time,
Yeah.
discipline. You can't fart in public. Everybody looks at you. So you know, sacrifices.
It's on carbs.
You have to have all the time to be on the top, and then you get slapped in the face when you think I'm good, and then you get sacked, which means that is really life. Doesn't matter how good you're doing. There could be always a baseball bat waiting for you around the
Yes.
corner, and you need to lift yourself up and say, "Fuck, I'm not gonna go crazy after this. I need to live."
Yeah, it was,
How did you survive that moment when everything was finished? You got to move on. You got a family at home, and
Well, you're supposed to. You're supposed to, but it doesn't matter
Takes
who you
time.
are, it takes time. You fucking be there for it. It took me 11 years to come back home because I didn't want to come back home. And it took me 7 years to stay in Albury, away from the spotlight, dealing with small town Albury, which drove me insane. That's why I left. But I needed that time to get away from the big city and all the attention I once had. Because it was not much fun when, you know, you're big and you're recognisable, but then they're coming after you for fucking nothing or shit. And you're like, come on, man, I can't deal with the hate that much. Even I was like, that's enough. Well, I'm out. I'm going to go
Had
have a
enough.
rest. Had 7 years sabbatical.
are you happy back in Brisbane?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Brisbane's always home. It was always a matter of time, a matter of when.
And are you obviously? I'm assuming that Brisbane Lions is still your favourite team.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I grew up here, played 12 years with them, 248 games, won 3 flags and a Brownlow with them. It's hard to argue.
And
they won
other
the-
day you were probably screaming when you were watching the game.
Oh, I am, man. I'm a proper fan now. Like, I learned how to be a fan when I went to Melbourne and lived there. The people up here have no idea. Like, you know, it's fucking golf,
Melbourne
man.
is different.
Not Melbourne.
Yes, it is.
It's fucking dropping the ball. Yell out ball. That's a handball. He's out. Run. Fucking get involved. Like, don't just sit there and do
I
nothing.
think I went
So-
to Melbourne. Melbourne 2007 or 8. Could be 2008 when Geelong won. Man, it was like I don't know how many 90,000 people are.
100,000.
And Geelong won. That was the craziest time ever. You know, to be in Melbourne and actually watch it. Do you still go to the game here?
Man, that'd be the first time Melbourne or Geelong people actually had an excuse not to go to fucking work. Fair income. But yes, well, I go to the games here, and then ones in Melbourne we go to depending on work if we're
Yes.
down there. But you know, usually grand final week. Obviously, last year was up here because you know COVID. But you know, normally this year I think I've already got Wednesday and Thursday already booked out for speaking engagements. So you know, you can fill up stuff around, or you can go down there. You get the Brownlow Monday night, which all the ex-players or the winners always get invited to. So, you know, the pay for it to go down, me and wife go down and might bring the kids, might not. Probably not.
Still go, huh?
And have some fun.
Financial advice, when professional athletes, how much professional advice are they getting while they're actually being on top of their game? Because the reality is, you know, AFL, you can't be 60 and still playing. You can't be 50 and still playing professionally. So you are kind of, I call it, any professional sport, you kind of got a maximum of 15 years approximately of earning great
That's if
money.
you're good. That's if you're good.
That is
yeah.
if you're good.
You're
But if
good.
you got 15 years from normal age 20, for example, or 18 to age 34, 35, so for 15 years you're making great money, but you're spending as well. And when you stop, during that time, how much financial advice were you actually getting?
Well, a little bit. My mum was pretty good. She gave me some good advice when I was younger about real estate, which is kind of funny. It's still stuck with me today. Buy land. The more land you got, the more money you'll make. Don't buy units necessarily, or you know this or that. It's the land.
She was right.
She's right. So that's what I did. I think.
But does club offer people good advice?
Yeah, it's a tricky area. They do now. They've got big welfare. Generally, the ones you got to watch out is for like Uncle fucking Frank from Two Families Over. You know, I got this great idea, Aga. It's going to be wonderful, man. Just give me 10 grand. And that happens to a lot of elite athletes all over the world. You know, from black athletes in America who generally come from not much. Guys, like literally guys in the AFL, they nearly all come from.
So everybody's got a
to
great
low.
idea.
Yeah. So they've got this great idea, but then you've got your own journey where you've got to learn how to, you know, if you don't have a lot of money, how to actually spend it. Oh, fuck, I just wasted that on a car. Now the car's gone down in value, but now I want to get rid of it. Fuck, what am I going to do? I need some grocery, I need this. For me, I was thrown into the fire so early, as I mentioned. So, you know, I was already paying every bill in my house, looking after my brother for a good month, and then for many years after. You know, so I had needs that I needed to actually pay for shit. So I sort of knew the value of a dollar the hard way, which was okay. I'm not saying the others don't, because, you know, they get out of home, a lot of them come up here, they got to learn how to budget and all that. I think the school of hard knocks is still the best way to learn, you know. You learn your shit, fuck, I'm not going to do that again. Whether you lose $100, $1,000, 40 million, you'll fucking learn.
Because it's hard for a lot of, you know, professional athletes. You know, one day they're celebrity and they're making great money. Tomorrow they stop and they need to face reality. You know.
Well, there's probably more divorces out of professional athletes because that money stops, and the relationship, then the wife who had the big dreams and all that goes to shit, and they're like, well, what are we going to do now?
I think the problem is, I'm no professional sportsman to comment, I guess. One thing that I like about Europe and America, there's no cap how much you can earn. And I'd never find it fair in a lot of Australian sports that there's a cap how much each player can earn. I mean, if you're great, if you're one of the most talented, hardest working people in the world, why shouldn't you earn $100 million or $30 million? Do you think it should be open, earn as much as good as you are, or do you think cap is good?
Well, the cap is, Australian culture is the cap works great. Because Australian culture, as you know, bring the top down and bring the bottom up, meet them in the middle.
Yes.
You know, that mediocrity, that's what we're renowned for. Don't get ahead of yourself, fucking drag them back down. The problem, what you said is spot on. Now you got two problems with trying to make it explode. You don't want to send clubs broke, but the AFL have a system which is very much like the NFL, where they'll take a big chunk of revenue and put it back into grassroots, clubs, facilities.
Yes, yes.
So your life becomes more comfortable around, and the growth of the game's looked after.
Yes.
So we take that restriction, knowing full well that they're the best invested in the game long term.
Yes,
It's a bit of a difference. So when
is
you
a good
look
way
at
to
Europe,
look at it.
we look at Europe, like, you know, you get in the Premier League and the EPL, and they come in, these fucking, you know, second grade teams go on the top grade, splash the cash, all the money comes in, they're fucking broke. They get relegated again. Well, they didn't get the right mix and didn't do it right. But, you know, the guy earned good money, but he's left the club and things falling apart. So we try and think the Australians' fairness is that we'll try and make it good for everyone.
Which actually makes sense when you think about it.
Yes, so that's
in
why
my mind before, you know, even this discussion, I'm thinking to myself, if I'm the greatest in the world, I want to be paid more than anybody. Not that money is everything, but because, you know, maybe people would think they deserve it because they are.
Well, I mean, I was the best Aussie rules player in the world at one stage. You know, what I was getting paid was actually fucking, I think I was getting paid 220 grand or something in that year, which for that guy, that level, you know, there were blokes on 750, 800 at that level. Like, fuck, you know, he's getting well underpaid. But do I take less later, which I did, to make sure I was in part of a good team? Because let me tell you, that 100 and 120 grand, 150 grand, maybe 200, could have got more to go elsewhere. Do you reckon after tax might be 75 grand? Do you reckon I'll fucking give up any one of those premierships for that?
No way.
No way. It's not worth it. So
you never did it for the money. You just did it because you love the sport and you love...
Again, I would have done it... well, it's a game you do for nothing for me, because you've got to love it. So to get paid to do something I would have done for nothing, fucking brilliant. And paid millions to do it. Had a chance in life to get out of that cycle that we're in, you know. My family is like, you know, not earning much, mechanics, fucking low end of the spectrum.
So everything you did it because you love it. How important do you think is for any young... There's so many people that will be watching this that are 18. I mean, you know, I don't think I'm old, but when you're 18 and when you look at somebody who's 42, 44 years old,
you think they're old.
Like these guys are, you know, 2 foot in a grave already. They're old, but
we're just in our mental prime. What are you talking about?
I like to think so. What advice would you give somebody who's 18, who is starting in this world and wants to climb the mountain that you have climbed? What advice would you give them?
Well, a guy gave me this advice, which is kind of crazy that now I'm giving the same advice. He said, I was 18. He said, son, it's probably my age, maybe a bit more, maybe sort of late 40s, maybe 50. He said, son, now, it's not easy to do. But at 18, if you can get your balls and put them on a shelf and go and work hard, you will beat everyone. because there ain't fucking any 18-year-old that can do all that work and not get distracted by it. He said, that's my advice. And let me tell you, he's right. Put the balls on the shelf mentally. Man, it's a pretty exciting time of your life. You've got testosterone. All you want to do is go out and fucking get lucky. But you put that energy into that, man, you put that energy in the right areas, and it worked. Fucking took off. So, not easy to do.
And then you picked them up from the shelves at age
I
30,
picked them up
40.
later. Picked them up, and made them work. Got married, but they weren't. I felt like they weren't going to come if they weren't going to come to my house if I wasn't successful. The girls would come, so I was like, "What do you want to do? Chase the girls now? Work hard, and then they'll come."
Correct.
Sure as shit.
But you also, your focus must be so freaking, for somebody's 18 years old these days, the problem is a lot of young individuals, they all want to make money and be famous and be the best today. Not many people are, realizing because you were not Eka overnight. When you were 18, you were not household name straight away in the first game. It took time and persistence and hard work for you to become one of the greatest.
Well, we're talking about it now,
time.
right? So, I started real estate last year. A mate of mine who was in my office said, "Man, how long did it take to win a Brownlow?" I said, 7 years. He said, "Well, what are you fucking in a rush for? Learn your craft, get it right, start auctioneering, getting better." But 7 years, top of my game, or 3 years, overnight success.
Yeah. But when you start, it's right. Even now,
I'm like, "Come on, man, give me a job, man. I'm ready to go." But it's just got to build the trust. Everyone sees you one by one. They're like, "Hey, he's all right. I'm going to use him." So it's just like everything. It's a shame because you want to fuck, let's give it now. Let's get it done now. Ain't going to happen.
What was driving you all the time? What was your biggest drive for so long? People lose drive, What was just driving you all the time?
Yeah. It is a great question. We talk about the two things that are in that you miss. Motivated. I'm not motivated. Well, motivation is fucking fleeting. It comes and goes. Wake up one day, ready to go. I'm fucking firing on all cylinders. Run the world, dominate the world. Next day, I don't fucking feel like it today. Well, what are you going to do? The big difference I find is between the same with passion and purpose. Man, passion ain't worth shit if you ain't got purpose. I'm fucking not on the same planet. You have purpose, it's what I want to do, whether it's 3, 5, 7 years. Most of it don't want to look that far ahead. But when you say I want to be the best, this real estate business that you're building, why is it going to be the best? Does it need the best numbers? Does it need the best service? You're working that out. But that's what gets you up every day. It's fucking, you get out of bed, you go, all right, I'm going to Brisbane this week, I'm drive up the highway, what are we going to do this week? I've got this fucking on this one. It's all purpose because you know what you want to be at the end.
Yes.
So the 90-year-old Jewish guy would always say, I think about this when I was 20. If I'm 90 and I fucking look back, what do I not want to have done? What do I must have done? Okay, then he's got purpose because he can see the end. See, everyone starts here and think that they can get to there. But he's saying, look here and say, what do I want to do? And how am I going to fucking do it? And what do I don't want to get? What am I going to regret if I don't do it?
Yeah, good way to look at it.
He's on the right track and he always has a better life because he's got purpose. When I want to get married, we're going to marry someone nice. Want to have kids with. Choose the right lady. Takes time.
Because you know, the persistence that people need to have to constantly. I find it fascinating because I see in a business, people become successful today and tomorrow they don't exist, but they don't get up. But with you, you were losing games too. You guys didn't win every single game.
No.
There are games when you get smashed too.
Oh, yeah.
But you still, you had to get up and keep going again constantly. There was no, going back. It's just constantly got to move forward.
Well, you're going to have you're going to have the same. It's coming up for you. Built, flying. I've got to the goals I thought in my mind that you could be. Now, I'm talking way back when you're like, fuck this, I got to start, I'm going to fucking buy a block of land and start again. Fucking plaster it. You'll build that shit up. But you were thinking then about all this down here. But see, the thing is, when you're successful, you may get there way earlier. But then you got a problem. Well, I've achieved my goals. What the fuck do I do now? Do I self-sabotage myself and, just neglect the business and then let it drop down and then fucking build it back up? Or do I have people come in who are going to take it to another level that I can't? Because I'm getting old, I want to enjoy my time. I want to go fishing, spend my money on my car. I want to go to Europe, race some cars, do whatever you fucking want. See, that's coming up for you. So you got that decision to make later. It's not that far away. Where I have all of that to go, to get there. And I know that. I might get there in 7 years, might get there in 3, might take me 20, but I'll get there. But then what? The fuck am I going to do now? See, that's coming up. And that's going to be where you either go one way or the other. Start self-sabotage or start to readdress and be ready for that.
So one thing that I keep telling people every single day is a lot of people just think of that end and they don't enjoy the journey in the meantime. I think enjoying the journey and the approach is like, first game of a season. It's not the same like having a final. Winning final, everybody's going, you know what, we want to have that 2 minutes. But you still got to play so many games in between from start to end of the year. What are you going to do? Just be miserable fuck throughout the year so you can win on the end in 2 minutes, you celebrate and you yell? Yeah, you got to enjoy the journey every single game. So even with myself, I love every single day, and I see it as a journey where I'm heading, and I try to enjoy it as much as I can, because tomorrow both of us can die, And to me, I realized at a young age that I only have one fucking life. I'm gonna die. Bullet that's gonna kill both of us has been fired a long time ago. It's just gonna hit us tomorrow in 30 years. We don't fucking know. So the journey is very important to me, to keep enjoying it and the drive, because once you get, I always used to think to myself, when I was even driving my fucking Toyota Corolla when I was 18 years old, I bought it for $6,300. I was driving it, and I was imagining that steering wheel to be a Ferrari steering wheel. I was like, how is it gonna feel? But now when I have it, it's like, fuck, and I almost wish I had that Corolla now. But so, I think it's important for people
No one ever fucking said that, ever. No one's ever gone, man, it's Ferrari, let's get that fucking Corolla back. Never, no one ever said that.
But the point is, it's important that people enjoy the journey and the drive and fun and shit and failures. I failed and I got up and all that is important that people enjoy all that. Not just, okay, I won a premiership, I got that Ferrari steering wheel in my hand. The journey towards it, you gotta fucking love the drive and the growth and whatever you do. I see that as a more fun than that end goal, because there's no such a thing as when is the end goal? I think
to bury your ass, it will burn your ass in the crematory. That's when the end goal. You got no choice after that.
Question for you: how important was the energy? I got a friend of mine. This is what he says. He's 73 years old. He's worth about $1 billion. He's very humble guy, but super wealthy. And he said to me, Emil, it's very important to keep your energy at age 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60, because energy is what's attracted to anything, people around you, or business, or sports, or whatever it is. How important was for you to have your energy throughout your career and today?
It's the key. You get more. I think you get born with that, almost hyperactivity where I only have to sleep like a couple of hours a night if I really want to. I can just fucking get up and go and go and go. Thankfully, that's way too much stress for me, and I'd just rather relax and try and get a little bit more sleep. But for me, my mum would always say I was the worst kid, because I would go to sleep at 12, wake up at 6, fucking run around like a lunatic all day, back to bed at 12. Driving nuts. So that's just something that it's got good and bad. One, you got an endless amount of energy, and then eventually you get so fucking burnt out, all your adrenals are gone, you just got to sleep for a week. Or you can pace yourself, get a bit smart as you get older, and you start to make your energy work more sustainably, which I had to learn. I had to learn not to just keep going and going and going and going and then just crash. But you're right, like at 45, I still do 2 heavy gym sessions a week. Took my basketball down here at fucking Orchid Flower with the shit refs. And get, Sunday night, Monday night, just about to do, energy-wise, about to do like Masters football, because over 35s. That's not the energy I'm talking about, what you're talking about. You're talking about that drive to get up, I can get in the car, go to the meetings, hammer it away, work your ass off. It's got to be there. You can't be, if you've got no health and you're in bed, you don't fucking do anything anyway. So if you got it, use the fucker. And you'll find that your energy will just start to attract more the people. It's just like a magnet.
Who is your favorite all-time sports person?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. There's only one Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Yeah, he's a superstar.
Did you ever meet him?
Haven't met him. Valentino Rossi was another, and he was. I've met him a couple of times. cool dude, man. He did bad, you know. For the good shot, that's good. That fucking relax and fucking fast and whoop your ass. You know, he was a cool dude. Michael's like next level cool. I met some amazing athletes, but yeah, I think Michael's just, he had all the things I had to deal with, which is kind of cool. Me looking, he's probably 10 years older than me, so he's just that next, he was just at the right age for me to be looking up. But man, that talk about, talk about, imagine being as wealthy as he was, even though he wasn't even the wealthiest guy. He was just,
he could have
so
been
cool.
a lot wealthier, but obviously not everything was about the money for him.
No, and look at him now. I mean, he's amazing success with Air Jordans and all the other stuff he does, but he like set the template. He's the original amazing sort of this generation or the last generation athlete that just took it to fuck global. Like he was just global. And I love that about him. And he's a cool dude. Drives Ferraris, can't be that bad. You know, got a couple of houses.
What other sports do you watch these days? Do you like all sports?
Yeah, good question. So I watch a lot of MotoGP. So I did a lot. I still ride my bikes when I can, or I race motorcycles. I love F1. I was still really good. Like I went into karting when I retired. Went into super karting. So I still race in those series. I love my own.
Which is interesting. I actually had a text today.
Not from. Who's it from?
From Ferrari. Where am I? Had a text today from Ferrari, and I think they said that you went with one of the drives. It was overseas.
Yes, in KL. In KL.
Yes. So
KL
one of the Franco, general manager from Brisbane, actually said, he's a great guy.
Is he up here now? Is he?
Yeah.
Frank. Where's my fucking call, Frank?
There's my Ferrari that I can have for the weekend.
Hey, give me a ring. We'll come over and talk some shop.
Yeah, he literally said that. He said that today.
Because he was in Melbourne.
No, this Franco is actually general manager of Ferrari Brisbane.
Right.
So he remembers you.
There's a few, Frank.
From
I think he
from
would have been
time.
on so when Herb Aberoth was running Ferrari Australia. So that was up in KL. So I did their sort of leadership culture.
Yeah, actually, I'll find out for you, which is
true story.
Which is fascinating.
I'm sure you blokes are really jealous. Got paid to go and drive Ferrari around a track and talk to Ferrari people. It's horrible.
I got a question for you from a very, very good. Actually, this guy is a phenomenal guy. He's Ben Hannock.
Ben Hannock.
I interviewed him. He's actually fascinating because he came from nothing, like all of us, from nothing. Another day I interviewed him in his private jet. And what he does for a living, he washes trucks. 5,000 of them a week. Phenomenal story. You gotta watch this interview. Guy is just champion. He's hilarious too. And he asked this question. Ask him how many friends came out of the woods when he was making it, and how many are friends now?
Fucking good question. I thankfully seen it a couple of times. So I had a few little like spot fires where people would jump off.
Yes.
I would say there's plenty that came out of the woodwork. Fucking plenty. You know, coming through school. Hey, can I get some tickets? Fuck you, man. There was a couple of them. Probably thought maybe, it's hard to put a number on it, but the ones that are friends now, I would say categoric, like really close mates, maybe 5 or 6. One's a cousin, a couple of guys who are actually in Nova here, good mates of mine. A couple others that you wouldn't know about. Yeah,
but a lot of people, when you're on top of your game, million friends and...
Fucking easy. You want to hang around me? Man, to help you out. Fucking sign your shit for you. Get your friend in, yeah, get him a ticket, no worries, look after you. Now the reason you do that, it's not just because, play the long game. You got to show people too that you are also humble, and that's for me the way you do it. You help them out. Because in the end, one day they'll stop asking. And that's the bad side of it. So you got to be able to be prepared to give the signatures and be friends, but know that one day when they stop, it's fantastic. You don't have to fucking worry about it again. But when you're in that moment, you're like, oh man, this is so painful. But then later you're like, well, now it's pretty cool. A good dude comes up and says, can you sign some stuff? You're like, yeah, man. Yeah, you'd have 50 a day. Your head blows off. Like, man, I've got to be somewhere, man. I'm sorry. And that you only need to do that to one dude and never forget it for the rest of your life. Hate your guts forever. And that's the price of fame, whether that rejection. We all had rejection. We hate it. But, when you're the famous dude, you just want to give them a piece of your time. And if you can do that, and I've had letters like from 20 years ago, people were like, you gave my son, he signed this, now he's like an adult. He mentioned it at his wedding, like fucking crazy shit. You're like, oh my God. So you know that if you give them time now, it'll be worth it, because one day you won't be important, and they'll continue their life with that, but they'll remember it. So, you know, are they like, a mate of mine, you tell him that he washes all the cars. What's his name, Steve?
Ben.
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 Tell Ben that mate of mine, old guy said, man, you got 4 good friends, man, that's all you need, enough to carry your big ass fucking coffin. I'm like, that's right. You got 4 of them.
So I never heard that. So all you need is 4 good friends
4
to
good
carry
friends
your coffin.
carry your fucking coffin. You've done it right. Your life's all right. Because you only got 2, you can't fucking carry the coffin. You got fucking 1 at each end. You got 3, well, that's just awkward. But 4, your life ain't that bad. 4. So you tell him 4.
So there you go, Ben. 4 friends
4.
is all you need in the end.
4, brother. Just keep 4, work with them. If one of them dies, bring another one in. You'll be right.
Yeah.
Just keep with the 4. You'll find them. You got them.
What one day when you are dead, how do you want people to remember you?
Well, the ones that know you will remember you for how you interacted. But the ones that don't, you know, I see it now. You're a Hall of Famer. Best kick ever played both sides of your body. It ain't that bad. I'm a pretty good player. Would people have me in the top 100 or the top 50 or the best team that played in the last century? I don't give a shit. In the end, Michael Voss gave me the greatest compliment ever. He said, that man there, Jason Akermanis, he had talent. But he got every fucking thing out of his DNA. He never left anything out there. And that's good that someone else could see that in me. Left nothing out there. Yeah, I had talent, fast, fucking run all day, good skills. But I made that. And that's the same with people in business. They've got the brains to do it. They've got the intellect, got the energy, and they fucking fail. Like, mate, if people say to you, let him out, man, he got everything out of his business because he had it. He had it, and he worked his ass off for it. Built it up, crashed and burned, came back up. But he did it because he could. That's a better, you know, all your friends say nice things because they're your friends. Fucking aren't. They're supposed to say nice things. You must be a shit friend if you can't. Yeah, he's a good fella, you know, very giving. We love him, very loving, great dad, you know, looked after us, gave us the world. They're all things your family should say. But it's the ones that are outside, what do they say? And if they say, hey, he was good to me, great to work with, gave me opportunities, backed me in, fuck. Man, that's the best compliment you can ever get. Sincere, always had my back. That's all you need to know. That'll be what you wanted to say. You know, on the tombstone, it's not really going to say, you know, best kick of all time or anything like that. It's going to say Jason Akermanis, fucking born here, died there, father of 3 daughters at the moment, wife. You know,
And that's it.
had a pretty good life. He's now in the ground. It's your turn. Good luck.
If somebody said to you, okay, let's go back to 18 or 7 or 18, would you choose anything else than what you have done? Would you choose different sport or career? Or if you had to live again, go back, would you choose to do the same thing today?
Well, that sucks balls because you can't. But I would. And I would go back and do it better. I feel like when you have those deja vus, you know,
Yes.
it's like older me saying, man, I told you, man, you're on the right track. It's all right. Just watch out for that. Just keep going. Fuck me. If I should have gone to Geelong instead of going to Bulldogs. Would have made less money, but we would have won 6 flags. Fuck.
But
Then
you would
then
still
you're
go
on
back
your
to,
own.
you would still, if you had to live again, you would still choose your career, AFL.
Yeah, I was born to play that game. You know, just my size, just wasn't quick enough to win the 100, not quick enough to win the 400. Still pretty good. You know, if I had the money, if I was from a family with money, because all my family are mechanics and they all raced. Run, race, solo for Australia, the motorbike, you know, the speedway bikes. One did like cars and shit. Man, I literally racing was in my blood versus football. But we had no money. So F1 or just a high level with my body height and size, man, I would have loved to have done that.
I think F1, I love watching F1.
F1, man.
F1.
That'd be
to
my
me-
dream job.
To me, that would be my dream job too. I would be bloody pushing you off the street there. So the thing about F1, there's only really 20 guys
Yeah.
that are racing, you know, and I just say that, you know, if you're a good soccer player or basketball player, even AFL player, you know, there's more than 20.
700 of them or whatever, 500, 600.
Well, in soccer, there's thousands, for example, in Europe or whatever. But when it comes to Formula One, there's 20. And it's political. There's a lot of guys with the money. They might push their sons, you know,
Definitely.
in it. And question for you. How much politics is in sports? I know there's a lot of politics in business every single day, but how much politics is in sports?
There's way more politics in sports than in politics. Politics is pretty easy, you know. It's what we want to do, work on him.
You at least know politics is politics, right?
Politics is politics. But the amount of fucking gossip and stuff on footy teams is fucking far worse because you're dealing with a product that is largely unknown unless they're like experts. When you go just, oh, that guy, we need to get him on side, we need his votes. That's fucking easy. Oh, that guy's not playing that well. Well, what are we going to do? Well, we've got to get him in. We're going to work on him. And then we've got to keep the sponsors happy because that's their favourite player. And then, fuck, well, we've got to get him out of the side. Well, how are we going to do that? We've got to get someone on here. So they're over there talking about, oh, can we get this recruit? Fucking way worse. It's like layered like an onion. Fucking 10 deep. Politics is easy compared to fucking sports politics.
So it can't be just for anybody that's 18 years old that is taking, you know, your footsteps to be professional athlete. They can't just be good sportsmen or sportswomen. They also got to be aware of every other bullshit that's going to go with it.
You got to play the game.
You got to play the game.
Play the game
in every way. So you can't just be sportsman or woman and just keep playing.
No, you got to work around the idiosyncrasies of the coach.
Yes.
Your teammates, you got to work with them. You got to tell them how the game, like what's going to happen. Like it's pretty complex.
I think what should be fun. Just finishing this. I want to do this again in a different way with you.
We're going to talk about real estate.
No, not real estate. Next few weeks, I want two of us to go on a racetrack. I'll get us a couple of cars.
Right.
And let's just have some fun on a racetrack and chase each other there. I'll book it for half day. We'll just chase each other there to see if I can actually kick your ass in that sport.
We're going to have a bet. Right?
I'll have a bet
on the day and bring some cash.
Done.
But you know with sport, you can manipulate the cars. So you got to be equally matched cars, equally matched talent.
Done. I will bring two cars that I'm even not good at driving. I know my car. I'll pick two.
You boys hear that? You keep into this. You know, I don't know if he knows what he's up against.
Anybody that's watching this, I'll say this, it's actually be a good challenge. We've got a few people in this room. Reason why it's a good challenge, I'll tell you. In 2007, I think, you probably cannot remember this. I think I picked you up somewhere from the north side, and I had Mercedes SL AMG. It was 65 AMG. It was a V12 cylinder car, and I picked you up.
Brilliant piece of shit. You couldn't go anywhere in it. It was just wheel spinning.
But I remember driving with you, and I was shitting myself. And I was like, I don't know if he's a fucking lunatic or if he's really good, but I'm scared.
well, you now need to find out, right? You need to race me, and then you can see for yourself.
This time we're going to be in a different car, so I don't have to shit myself whatsoever. I'll be safe.
You can shit your own seat, not because of me, just because I went past you behind.
I'll tell you one thing that I did last year.
What track are we going to do?
September. I like one at Wollongong.
Oh, you want to get your Willowbank?
Yes.
Not the one down the coast, halfway down the coast?
No, Wollongong is way better.
Yeah,
as long as it's better, it's crazy. But I tell you what's really fun. Last September, 5 of my friends, we took 5 cars to Cairns, Targa Cairns.
Oh.
For 3 days, we were racing our cars. So imagine this. You got 20 roads. They close the road. It's average about 20 kilometers. No incoming traffic, so you use both lanes. No speed cameras.
Any kangaroos?
Well, and so you go for your life. And there was like 10 cars, and we behind each other, and you just go as hard as you want. But the adrenaline rush that you have there, it's a normal road. You go as fast really as you want to. No incoming traffic. You know, using both lanes. No speed cameras. You just really go for life. But the craziest thing is, all of us were driving relatively expensive cars, and none of the cars are insured when you're racing them. So if you crash a $50,000 car or $500,000 car, whatever it is, that's it. But that moment when you're going as hard, you're not thinking about anything. It was the best fun, best 3 days. This September again. Ooh. We should discuss it. You should come.
Rightio. Well, what we'll do is we have the bet. Go to Willowbank. We got 2 equally matched cars, and we'll see if you can
I'll
fucking
kick your
drive.
ass. It'll be what?
You kick my ass, so you'll be giving me a couple $100 I'm tipping.
Done.
Let's put that down there, right, boys?
Done.
$500,000 easy cash on the day. Fastest lap time. Go for a race.
Done.
Done.
Done. It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the beers.
That's okay. If
on.
nobody watches this, I'll send you the bill.
They're watching. Don't worry.